Hello there, beautiful friend. In this video, we're gonna do something really cool. We're gonna create a preloader. So we as humans, we don't like to wait for long. And why am I getting philosophical? Let me just show you what we're gonna make. So this would be the website that we have. So rather than making it appear all of a sudden, we are gonna add this cool, simple animation. And when the website loads fully up, it's gonna fade out, and look at that. There's our website. Very cool. So let's get started. I provided the images that we're gonna use in this video, so make sure to check out the description. And I just added everything in this image folder. So that's it. That's all that you need. So let's create a index.html, which we are not gonna do in the image folder, index.html. By the way, I'm still sick, so I'm recovering, but hopefully everything is gonna be fine in a few days. So I'm gonna just create a template HTML here. I'm gonna name this preloader since that's what we're gonna do. Perfect. And now we just need a few things. So this is where like your whole website would go, right? But before you do that, the first thing you want to do is we're going to create this preload class. So you want this to be the first thing that's going to render. And then after this, you're going to have your full website. So you have your sections, you have your headers, header and footer and anything else you want. So this goes on top. And in this preload, what we're gonna need is an image of the plane. So we're gonna head to the image folder and we're gonna get the airplane. Let's also name this airplane. Perfect. And we're gonna need let's add a H3. We're gonna say landing on the website. Yeah, I got really creative with this one. Perfect. And then we're gonna need the 3 clouds. Now I only have 1 cloud, but that's the nice thing. We can duplicate it and create 3. Now that doesn't mean that it's gonna fetch the file 3 times. We can just take 1 file and multiplicate it. So it's not gonna, the loading is not gonna be so horrible rather than like separately loading 3 images. So we're gonna do image and we're gonna name this cloud1. Oh, we need the source actually. So let's add image cloud, and then we're gonna add a class of cloud1. The sickness is getting to me. Alt, we're gonna name this cloud1, and shift alt, and if we hold shift alt and then press down on the arrow key, we can multiplicate this. So let's also name this cloud, and this is gonna be cloud2 and cloud3. Wowee. So 1, 2, just rename this, and the source will remain the same. We just want to use the same image. Good. All right, so this is the whole preload. So below this, you would create your website. So for this, I just added a section here and a H1 with arrived, and I just added an image. So we would have to wait a bit. There we go. And that's basically it. So let's also create our style.css now. And we need an app.js. So we need a CSS and a JS file. Now I'm gonna link these. So let's do the CSS up here. So link style sheet, and down here, so below right above the body, we're gonna add a script tag. And all we have to do is say /app.js. Actually, you can just do app.js, but I get the visual highlighting if I do that. But yeah, that's it. So that's everything we need in our HTML. So before we move on, we can right click on this one and we can open in live server just so we can see our finished website. So this is the finished one. And here we go. Perfect. So as you can see right now, our preloader is up here and the other one is down here, but we don't really want that. So what we want to do is we kind of want to overlay this image across the whole preloader. Should be overlaid on top of our website. So let's do that. So how do we do that? Well, let's go in. We need some CSS magic for that. So for now, let's just drag this. Actually, let's just make this full screen and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So let's head to our style.css. I'm gonna remove some basic styling as we usually do. So someone asked me in the last video, like, what is this star? Well, stars are actually sun. Yeah, they're sun, but are they sun? I know they're not planets, but they're sun. But never mind, that's besides the point. Star in CSS basically grabs all the elements. So H1s, H3s, sections, divs, and we can just kind of remove the basic stylings of it because Chrome adds margins to headings and Firefox adds them a bit differently. So this is a way to kind of just remove everything from all the elements, and the browser doesn't matter basically. So we just remove the margins and the paddings from all the elements, and we can do box sizing, border box as well. Border box, there we go. So after we remove our basic stylings, we can grab the preload, if I remember correctly. Yep, preload. And what we want to do is basically add a position fix to this, which is gonna put it on top, and then we can do top 0, and we just want to add a width of 100% and a height of 100 VH to this. So basically full screen. And now let's add a background of, we're gonna do 7. I apologize if I'm gonna cough. 77B3D4. And that should be a nice bluish color. There we go. So right now, as you can see, this whole preload is overlaid on our website. So it doesn't matter if we scroll. Now our image down below is super huge, so we can scroll, but as you can see, it doesn't really matter. So perfect. So now what we want to do is we want to add a display flex to this. We're going to add a justify content center, align item center. Now we do this just to take the plane and put it in the middle, because we're going to take the clouds and the text. Oh my god. And we're going to take the clouds and the text and position them kind of however we want, because we're going to animate that. But the plane, I kind of want to take the plane and just keep it in the center, and that's it. So let's move these around a bit. So I kind of want to have basic styling on all the clouds, so I want to make them smaller. So we can do that. We can just select all the clouds. So if we just add dot cloud 1, which is one class, and then we add a comma, well, we can select all of them like so. So cloud 2 and cloud 3. So this is going to apply all these styles to cloud 1, cloud 2, and cloud 3 class. So we can add a height of 100 pixels, which is going to make it way smaller. Perfect. Now we can add a position absolute, because all of these are going to be position absolute. So boom, they're going to be on top of each other, which is, I mean, nice. Usually it's nice. And then we can select individual ones and we can position them however we want. So let's do cloud 1. We're going to do cloud 2 and cloud 3. Like so. Now we have this huge image in the background. So let me just make that smaller a bit. So we have the section image. I'm just going to add a basic style down here. Section image. I'm going to just add a height of 200. Just so, there we go. So now we cannot scroll anymore. Okay, up here, cloud 3. Perfect. So let's move these around. How do we want to move them? Well, I want the first one to be top. That's, I think I did, yeah, 25%. So it's right about there. Let's do this one 50%, so top 50%, and this one's gonna be 75%. All right, how do we move it here? Well, we can do right 0, like so. Actually, you know what? We can copy this, and we can just paste it up here. Boom, bada boom, look at that. All of them are there, perfect. Now, how do we move it out of the frame? Well, we can use transform for that. We can do transform, translate, and we can translate the X. So basically the width of this, we can move it around. So we can translate, if we translate X by 50%, well, that's gonna move it halfway. So translate basically works like so. So you take the width of the image, and then if you transform it by 50%, it's gonna take the width of the image and it's gonna move it by 50%. So the width of the image, okay? And if you do 100%, then it's gonna take the whole image and move it out of frame. So as you can see, 50% just moves it halfway out. And if we do 100%, then it's gonna move it all the way, which is perfect. Now, actually, let's also position these more perfectly. So top 25%, we can delete the translate X, and we can have this as 100, and we can add a comma, and we can just say minus 25% here, which is gonna be the top. So again, if you move it top 25% down, well, the content is gonna start after 25%. So it's boom, like this. But if you want it to be exactly like in the middle, then you need to translate it back by the amount you move down. So that's 25. So 25 here, we can copy this and we can paste it here. And all we need to do here is just modify this to 50. And down here, we just need to modify it to 75. And there we go. Now we cannot see them because it's out of frame, but we are gonna animate it in just one bit. So one thing that we also need to do is let's go below the clouds. If I don't make sense, don't worry, it's because I'm sick. We're gonna grab the airplane. I'm gonna make this smaller. And the challenge for today was, by the way, to not cough, which I'm doing pretty good. So 200 pixels on this, make it smaller. Airplane, that doesn't work. Well, we need to add a class, which I forgot, obviously. So class airplane, hit save, let's see. There we go, way smaller. Now this text is in the way, so let's get the text out of the way as well. So for the text, I'm gonna add position, not position, we're gonna say preload. Let's just grab it like this, preload h3. We're gonna add a position absolute. Perfect. We're gonna add, let's see, top 75%. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's okay. You can transform, translate this back as well. Transform, translate. Let's do Y. All right, so we can do minus 75 if we want it exactly to be. There we go, perfect. Let's also make this white, color white, font size, let's go 50 pixels. Too big, 40 pixels. And we add font family, sans serif. There we go, good, nice. I don't like this, it's too big. 30. Yeah, I'm happy. Good, so let's animate this. The easiest one we can do is the plane. So down below, let's go all the way down here. We can add an add symbol and keyframes, and we can say airplane. And we can say from and to. So where do we want this to animate from? Well, we want from its initial position, so transform, translate Y. Again, Y is the vertical one, so 0 pixels. Okay, we want to start from 0. Okay, from to, where do we want to go to? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Let's do transform, translate Y. Let's try 50 pixels, which is going to push it down 50 pixels. And let's see how that looks. So up, let's go back to our airplane. We can add animation, airplane. Let's do 1 second, ease, and let's do infinite. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. And my phone's blown up. But as you can see, we have a problem. It goes like this, and then it teleports itself all the way up. Let me mute my phone. How do we solve that? Well, what's happening is the animation ends, and then it jumps all the way back to transform, translate 0. So that's why it's happening. But what we want to do is we want to go down 50, and then we want to animate back to 0. So it kind of goes from to, and then to from, because right now what's happening, it's going from to, and then from to. What we want to do is from to from to true. Okay, let's do that. Add shut up and just show us how it's done. Well, all you have to do is go up here and just add alternate, and then all your problems are solved. Looking good. Perfect. Now let's do the clouds. So let's go all the way down here, and we're going to do the same. So all we have to do is add keyframes, and we're going to say clouds, and we're going to say from and to. I feel like I'm doing like a yoga exercise when I'm saying this. From and to. Let's go, ladies. Okay. So here what we want to do is we want to move it from the right position all the way off screen. Okay, remember we cannot do the translate because we're already using it here. So what we need to animate is the right position, which is up here, right? Every cloud has a right of 0. These, we kind of need them to be in this position. So in this case, I mean, I want you to know it's usually better to animate the transform rather than the right or top or these. So transform is really efficient and really good to animate with, and the opacity and things like that. Height and right and things like that are usually not so good. But hey, in this case, we're not doing too much, so it's fine. So what we want to do is we want to animate from. Well, where from? Well, our right is 0, so this is not changing. And to, well, we want to move it off screen, so it has to be greater than minus 100%. So we're going to say right, and the thing that worked pretty okay for me is 130%. So let's see how that looks. Well, we need to add the animation to the clouds, not minus 130%, by the way, 130%. Okay? Because minus percent would be more to the right, but the other way it's going to be positive. So let's go back to the clouds. Up here we're going to add an animation, and I have it noted here because I had a few that looked decent. So animation, we're going to say clouds, we're going to say 3 seconds ease, and we're going to add infinite. And let's see, there we go, that's one. And we can just copy this and paste it down here. And now we don't want this to happen. So we can add a delay. So right after the infinite, you can just add 2 seconds. And for this one, let's add 1 second. Okay, you can play around with this, make it look however you want. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, looks okay. So which one? Is this the last one? 75%. Let's do 1.5. Yeah, that's okay. You can experiment with this and make it look however you want. Good. Now there's a slight issue here. As you can see, the cloud goes over the plane. Well, if I want to put it under, I don't know. I don't really like this going on top of the plane. So to put it under the plane, well, we can just add z index -1 to the clouds, and that's gonna just put it right underneath the plane. Good, perfect. So there's our preloader. Okay, now how do we do it how do we want to get rid of this once our website loads? Well, it's really simple. It's 3 lines of code. So in our app.js, we just need basically to make a function that gets rid of the preloader. That's all we need. So to do that, we can grab the window object and we can add an event listener. And in here, we need 2 parameters. We can listen on load, which is basically going to tell us when the whole website loads, then we can run a function. So here we can run a function. We can do this, or we can do the shorthand, which is going to be 2 parentheses, an equal sign, and a greater than sign. And then we can open up some curly boys. Perfect. So what do we need in here? Well, once our website loads, I want to grab the preloader, which is going to be equal to document.query selector. And we are just gonna grab the preloader, like so. Hope I didn't mess this up. Let's take a look. I did mess it up. Oh, what a surprise. So it's just preload. So we're gonna grab the preload class. Let's also make this preload. All right, keep everything consistent. So in here, what I want to do is preload dots. Let's do class list dot add. And we're gonna add preload finish. So we're gonna need to create a new class for this. So hit save here, and let's go back in here, and wherever you want, we can do preload finish. And what this is gonna do is basically, well, we're gonna say opacity 0, so, and then we're gonna add pointer events, none. So we cannot click on this. So we fade it out, and then we're gonna remove the pointer event. If we add display none, then we cannot fade it out. We cannot animate it because it's just gonna remove it from the DOM. So we cannot do anything with it anymore. So we just remove the opacity, pointer events none, and now what we can do is we can animate this so it can fade out. So the way we can do that is we can go back on the preload up here, and we can just say transition all 0.5 seconds ease. Well, actually we can just do opacity because that's the only property that we want to transition. Good. So how do we test this out? Well, we can press F12. In here, we can drag this out a bit. And then here, you're going to have something called, this bar up here, you're going to have something called offline and online here. Well, if we're going to click on the online here, as you can see, it pops up the throttling. Let's see if I can zoom this in. Ah, I cannot. All right, online. And there are a few presets here. So you can do fast 3G, slow 3G. So we're gonna do slow 3G here. And basically what it does, it simulates your internet speed. So it's gonna make it really slow. So it's gonna simulate, yeah, it's gonna simulate a slow 3G basically. And what we can do is we can right click on the refresh and we can empty cache and hard reload, because once our website loads, well, it's gonna kind of cache everything. So the next time we just refresh, it's gonna be almost instantaneous. So the best way we can visualize if we empty cache and hard reload and we just add slow 3G here. So let's see, hope this works. Let's see, it's gonna load our website and we have the animation and it fades out and there we go. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please drop a subscribe if you want to see more content. I said more 2 times because way more is coming on the way. All right, boys and girls. Love y'all. Take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.